Hello, welcome to Familyology. We are committed to building bonds and resilience for every individual of the family journey. At this moment, this is the time we're talking about. Our session is the family circle, right? That's why we are here to support each and every stage of life, from conception to childbearing, right? And we like to come on here because this is our segment of Uniting Hearts. So you're going to see our faces and eventually you'll probably see more. But right now, you're going to see our faces and the topic of discussion right now. Oh, God, this one's good, guys. Go ahead and get your popcorn. And you need to just get comfortable. That's what y'all need to do because you know what we're going to talk about? Making mistakes. Yeah, you the one watching right now. You done made some mistakes up in your family. And we're gonna talk about making mistakes. Failures do happen, and in this making mistakes, we can grow from it. But sometimes we don't, and we're going to talk about that. Sometimes we don't. But before I go in depth, for those that don't know me, hi, I am Andrea. And
I'm Stephanie, and we are the leading family advocates coaches at Familyology. And so we are your hosts today, and we're thrilled that you're here with us. And what Andrea was saying, right? We make mistakes, and this is why you are allowed to mess up, and you're still worthy of love and respect and forgiveness.
Yes, you are. And so there's this quote that my co-leader over here, my hostess of the mostest, gave me, and we were actually talking about. I was like, "Girl, we need to just press record because this is just getting too good. This is getting too good." So the quote is, "Making mistakes are not failures; they are opportunities of growth." Right? So ponder on that. What do you feel about that? I'm going to say that one more time. Making mistakes are not failures. They are opportunities of growth. And this is like my cup of tea, man, because I have made some big mess ups. And I ain't gonna lie, for me, the offender, I wanted to erase it real quick, like get it over with. Please receive me. I'm sorry. But also the person that is receiving it, and I was talking to Stephanie that the person that is receiving it and the person that dealt it, you can both grow from this. But a lot of times the person that is receiving it wants to throw it all out, to just get rid of the whole relationship altogether. And that's you. You better not leave. You the one throwing the what they said, the baby, the bath, and everything. You just throw it all out. Like, forget it. I don't want the relationship no more. You know that one away bride.
Yeah, but at the same time, okay, like being the receiver, you get like, a little shocked, and you're like, oh my God, and how dare you? And you get offended. But at the same time, when someone is like dishing it out to you, maybe not the best way, because sometimes this is where you're working. Like, for example, like if I'm the disher and I lash out, I know 10 years ago I lashed out even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned, so like I'm improving. But sometimes, it takes us to like continue doing this to like learn and be like, oh, and then co-regulate our nervous system so that we could be in the point that is like, but sometimes when, as a receiver, you have to, instead of just being like, it's like stab, you're like, what the hell? What's your problem? You got to also acknowledge like, okay, why is she or he ditching this? Like, why are we here? Like, what have I done, or what am I not understanding? And this is why we're here, because obviously something is not being resolved. It's something that I don't understand, or the person is not communicating correctly, or what did I do that I didn't notice? It requires those kind of questions, and like, because I was on my bike ride, and I think I had like this conversation multiple times with different people. And, you know, they're like, what's work psychology? And I'm like, let me think here. Like, I'm not in work mode, da, 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 da. So I'm talking to them and explaining. And they're like, oh, all right, that makes sense. And I was giving an example. I was like, there's this one person. I know every person who interrupt me, I have an issue. Like, I just feel like, I don't know what it is. Like, it triggers something in me because I have another coworker that does that. And I'm just like, she's still answering my question. And I guess she's reading my mind, but she didn't let me finish my sentence, you know? Like, it bothers me, you know? And I have to learn how to co-regulate and breathe. And I was like, but then you have to think about, what is she mirroring to me? And why is this bothering me? Where is this coming from? Where did I learn this? Da, 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 da. And then they're like, oh, so you turn it on you, he said, this guy I was talking to. And I'm like, well, that's the thing. That's the whole thing about interactions. Not only do you get upset, the person is getting you upset, but then you have to also acknowledge, like, why is this coming up? What is this telling me? What is my body saying? Where am I feeling this in my body? What's going on here? And then you start like growing individual. And then once you have understand what's going on versus going like, oh my God, what's your problem? Why can't you let me talk? Right? Like, instead of like that, you start clearing up this ball of like, what's up with this? And then you start having a dialogue and start talking. So, you know, it's just a progress, and you're going to have to mess up to learn and to understand. But I'm still worthy of love and not be tossed.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I call that the pregnant pause. And it's the irony. I call it the pregnant pause, is because you need to pause to look within what's inside you. There's something that you're pregnant with that, I'm sorry, you might, I hate this term, but you might need to abort it, or you need to carry it and take care of it and nurture it and say, okay, this is part of me. I tell people all the time, you know, my type of communication, when you really get to know me, because I'll be quiet, but I can be very passionate, very aggressive, and I'm very straight up. Like, and if you don't get that, you will run from me. But that's my way of love. Sorry.
I received that love. I'll be like, what's going on here? She yelling.
Love. I'm like, come here, let me love on you a little bit.
I feel like you're yelling at me. This love is yelling.
What's the problem? Like, chill. And then I'm like, okay, hold up. Let me tone it down a little bit. I'm just being passionate. And that was, I thought about, this is my second time coming on talking about a movie. I guess she's like, girl, is that all you do is watch movies? But I thought about Monster Inc. I don't know if y'all remember that movie. It's a cartoon. And they shift their business plan. But he saw himself in the mirror and how he was scaring that girl. I don't know if y'all remember that, right? He was all like, ah, and he was like, ooh, that looks kind of crazy. Like, and he didn't like how he saw himself. I mean, he didn't like it, to the point that they literally changed Monster Inc. up and said, you know what, we're going to do jokes from now on, right?
It's higher frequency and more energy.
Yeah, and you don't know how you look. You don't know how you look. That mirror, right? The Monster Inc. If you don't get anything, go watch the movie. Like, but here I am. Last time was Transformers. Now it's Monster Inc. But anyways, but he saw himself and how that girl viewed it. Happened to be like a mirror there, and he saw, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And it was a friend, and he was like, "I'm doing this to my." Now I'm about to break down on a video. He was like, I'm doing this to somebody I love. That is my friend. And I'm scaring her. You know what I mean? And he had to look. He was the offender. He was the one. So he was like, no. That's not how I'm trying to come off here. I love you. Like, no, I need to check myself. Like, and that's the thing. When sometimes you don't see how you are coming out people. You don't know how you are like in this relationship of our mess ups. We don't know how it's damaging. And so for the person that's listening, you might be the mother, you might be the father, and you don't really know your tone and how that is, how that you might be that monster coming to them. Not that you're trying to, but the way you are approaching things because of their mistakes, it's a double it's damaging on both ends, if that makes sense. So yes, you feel some way because the kid is coming to you and he has made a mistake. Now you that monster, because of your tone, and you felt some kind of way, you took it personal or whatever the tone is. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to take that mistake and get rid of your whole relationship all around, right? And that's what we're saying, that this is the opportunity if you can just renew your mindset and say, wait, that's a mistake, but this is an opportunity for both of us to grow.
Mm-hmm.
For both of us to grow. And I was just talking to my son about that because he made a mistake and I had to set some things up. I was like, I forgive you, but hey, you're gonna be on restriction, right? But on the same token, we sat down, we talked, and I said, dude, you're going to constantly make some mistakes. But guess what? Guess what? I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm trying to establish that even when he makes mistakes, I'm still going to be here. I'm still not going nowhere. And a lot of our relationships, whether it's coworkers, whether it's relationships, couples, and mothers, fathers, all that, it's family dynamics. It really is, especially in job. You with them more than sometimes with your regular family. 8 hours, man, I really kind of see my kids sometimes because they're at school. So sometimes your coworkers in itself, you're around them even the more than your regular family. And so they wind up being family. And that's why y'all are like, But I love this quote. Making mistakes are not failures. They're not. It's a time or an opportunity for growth. That's what it is. Well, you guys, I saw you, Stephanie. You ready to talk.
I mean, I think what was I thinking? Damn it. But I mean, it's like layers, okay? You talk about a situation. This is bothers me. Okay, cool. You guys talk about it nicely. And then again, something comes out and it's similar, but it's not. And I know I'm a very passive person in the way I talk because I'm afraid of I don't want to get you mad and I don't want to fight, but I just don't know how to say this and I'm trying to keep it cool. So, because I'm not trying to be like, look, foo, you pissing me off. What the is your problem, I'm a cusser, I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, that's my point. I don't want to come that way and I'm trying. So I do fall in the little passiveness and in a way and trying to do this, but this is why there's layers, okay, we talk about it again, and then maybe I get more upset, like all you're saying, here comes your passion, here goes the aggressive, and then you're like, and then again, but it's just sometimes you gotta talk over and over, like a situation with my daughter, she was feeling a certain way, and maybe this feeling that she's having, there's layers of feeling this particular way, and I had to sometimes have 6 conversations. And there's times that when she was gonna come, I'll be like, I'm not ready for this. I'm exhausted. Today's not the good day, or give me 30 minutes or something, and then we'll come back and talk about it, so we could discuss this. And we could sometimes feel oh, we're talking about this again.
Yeah.
We're talking about this again. Exactly. But sometimes you got to, because you have to understand there's layers of processing and reassurance and reminders, and also, challenging the belief, this is what you believe and this is how you feel. So belief and emotions are different, this is the emotion that you have that is linked to this belief. And people get defense because they're defending like the belief. They're fighting the belief, and they forget to acknowledge the emotion. So then they deny it. You know, so then sometimes you have to be like, you know what, I acknowledge that what I did or how I say things made you feel this way. And I'm sorry because that's never my intention. But you're saying that you believe this. Well, let me explain, or let me acknowledge, or let me share some light to this belief. And this is where belief should be challenged. Because then when you share information and you're explaining and you're like, that's not what I'm trying to do, that is not my intention, da, da, da. And then it goes in from like, you have to accept all your good side and all your shadow side. And the reason why we have shadow side is because there's shame, because of family, society, religion. All that creates shame because it's bad. But as a person, you have to understand, I know all my badness and I know all my goodness. And this is why being able to say, I understand that's your belief, but this is, I'm not willing to eliminate that. However, this is what I could do to make you feel secure. And then the other person is like, okay, you're testing my belief, blah, blah, blah. You know, like this is why it requires conversation. And sometimes you gotta be patient to have like exaggeration, like a billion times the same conversation.
Yeah, and you need the tools, because a lot of times we weren't taught about apologies, right? We weren't, I know the way I was taught was hug it out real quick. It's a 3-second thing. You keep it moving, right? But there are tools that you can gain in order to know how to communicate better so that you can overcome those mistakes and those triggers that we might had taken in our past or in our childhood or just trauma, just purely trauma. I mean, I don't know, like if you're dating and you dated 10 guys and 2 of those cheated or some might did something other than that. Now you with this good guy and you don't know no different. So you're on edge, you know? So you have to work on those processes and learn how to communicate effectively so that you can get through all those things or those past mistakes or the mistakes that people are coming to you at, which they might have did it, but to voice, hey, I'm not that person no more. I'm going to set some boundaries. And sometimes even with me right now, I'm learning silence is golden. Yeah, it's golden. But silence is golden because I'm working that process so that the relationships that I feel I deem is very important to me, I want to set that boundary so that I won't throw the baby in the water and everything out. So sometimes even in this quote that we're talking about, mistakes, making mistakes are not failures, but also it takes a process of things that it's not going to be an overnight thing. And I know many of times when I did couples coaching, couples counseling, a lot of times they want a quick fix, right? But it's not going to be a quick fix, because if y'all been together for 10 years and you've been doing that for 10 years, and then all of a sudden you want to say, I'm sorry, in 3 seconds and think that that's apology is going to change the 10 years you've been doing it, you know, that math don't work. I mean, it just doesn't. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of relations. A lot of us, including me, don't want to do the work when it comes to relational, because this is what this is. We're talking about relationships. This is not changing a diaper and we deal with that. You know, you poop. I know to change that diaper and throw it away. But with relationships, it's not that simple. It's not a changing of the diaper moment, even though you treat it like that. You poop on me, I'm going to change it, I'm going to throw it away. but
Right.
it's not that. It takes some time. It takes some moments. It takes you as an individual to own up your mess. It takes that person, and then also to see what you have did, and to that person, even, you know, you need to see your mirror. And a lot of times it's hard to see the mirror with that person you done offended or hurt. You need extra help. And you know, I'm doing my commercial, but you need extra help to navigate that. And that extra person can be the mirror for both of y'all, or the family in itself. And so yeah, that's it. I wanted to go in. Stephanie, can you tell them our group, our community group, peer group? Because I think that's
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is why it's really nice to have someone as a community, because then you guys share stories and you guys share enlightenment, and you go, aha, or you find tools, or you just find resources, and you don't feel alone, you know, because when we go through these like emotional roller coasters, or like feeling stuck and feeling overwhelmed and feeling angry, it could be very depressing, you know, and it feels like you're alone. But not only alone, then you feel lonely, right? Because those are two different things. So this is why we're starting our community group, Families Together, and it's online, so it's really convenient, and it's every Thursday, the third Thursday of the month at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And our next group is January the 16th. And of course, if you go to our website, familyology.com, you go to our group, community group events, and then you're able to sign up. You do a little like sign up, your name, emails, and then click, and then you'll get an email with what's the topic, the Zoom link, reminders, and and then we'll see you there in the group, and it's exciting. So, but again, thank you very much for joining in our episode in Uniting Hearts Talk. And thank you for being here.
Actually put the link somewhere, even near our video somewhere. So if you don't want to go to the website, I mean, there might be a link for up there somewhere or whatever. And then check it out. I mean, there's a lot more. If you're seeking one-on-one coaching, we got couples coaching, we got all kinds of stuff. But yeah, join if you want to start. Join that community peer group for us. I'm sorry, Stephanie.
No worries. No, yeah, it's like a really small investment, nothing big. If you're not ready for, individual coaching or, couple sessions or anything, this is a really good start to create support for yourselves. But yeah, but again, if you're on Instagram, it's going to be in our bio. If you're on YouTube, it's going to be in our description. If you're on Facebook, it's going to be, below on or above our video.
Well, thanks. Bye.